Welcome everyone to the incredible world of animal reproduction. It's a story that's as old as life itself. Let's journey back in time, over 1 billion years ago. Can you imagine it? The world was a very different place, filled with tiny single-celled organisms floating in the ancient seas. Mating didn't start with elaborate dances or fierce battles. Instead, it began as a survival mechanism. A cell might find its own DNA damaged by the harsh environment. To fix this, it would borrow DNA from another cell, combining their genetic material to repair itself and create a brand new healthy cell. This simple act of sharing was the very first step toward the complex mating rituals we see today. From that humble beginning, evolution started to specialize. Over hundreds of millions of years, these early life forms developed specific roles. Some organisms began to produce countless tiny cells. These cells were designed for one purpose: to travel far and wide, carrying only a precious cargo of DNA. We now call these sperm. Other organisms took a different approach. They created much larger, fewer cells packed not only with DNA, but also with all the energy and nutrients needed to kickstart a new life. These became the eggs. This fundamental difference set the stage for a spectacular evolutionary drama, where the travelers seek the providers. This specialization led to one of the most powerful forces in nature: sexual selection. It's what happens when one sex, usually the females who invest more in their large eggs, gets to be choosy. Let's say a male has a slightly longer tail feather or a brighter patch of color. If females find this attractive, he gets to mate more and pass that trait to his sons. His daughters might inherit the preference for that trait. This creates a feedback loop called runaway selection. Over many generations, that small trait can become incredibly exaggerated, leading to some of the most bizarre and beautiful features in the animal kingdom. Nowhere is this more obvious than in the world of birds. Think of the peacock. His massive shimmering tail isn't just for show, it's a billboard advertising his health and good genes. It's heavy, and makes him an easy target for predators, but the females love it. Similarly, birds of paradise in the jungles of New Guinea perform mind-blowing dances, puffing up their feathers into unbelievable shapes and colors. The males are the flashy ones, putting all their energy into attracting a mate. The females, in contrast, are often drab and brown. Their job is to stay hidden and protect their precious eggs, so camouflage is far more important than glamour. While birds often rely on sight, many other animals navigate the world of romance through a different sense altogether: smell. Chemoreception, the ability to detect chemicals, was the very first sense to evolve, and it remains a vital tool for finding a partner. Animals release special chemical signals called pheromones, which can travel through the air or water. These invisible messages can tell another animal everything it needs to know. They can signal that an individual is ready to mate, reveal its genetic fitness, or even mark its territory. Often these potent love potions are mixed into an animal's urine, a personal calling card left for others to find and investigate. To decode these complex chemical messages, many mammals have a secret weapon. It's a special sensory organ located on the roof of their mouth called the Jacobson's organ. Have you ever seen a cat make a funny face after sniffing something intensely? It might curl its upper lip and wrinkle its nose in what's called the flamen response. That's not a look of disgust. The cat is actually drawing air into its Jacobson's organ to get a better read on the scent. It's like putting on a pair of glasses to see the chemical world more clearly, allowing the animal to analyze every detail of the pheromones it has detected. Of course, in the high-stakes game of mating, not everyone plays fair. Some animals have evolved incredible strategies of deception to get ahead of the competition. Take the red-sided garter snakes of North America. When they emerge from hibernation, it's a frenzy. Dozens, sometimes hundreds of males swarm around a single female, forming a giant, writhing mating ball. The males find the females by following their unique pheromones, but some clever males have learned to produce the exact same pheromones as a female. They become imposters, tricking other males into swarming them. This trick is genius. The imposter male gets warmed up by the body heat of all the other males who are trying to mate with him. Once he's warm and full of energy, he can slither away from the confused crowd. He then goes off to find a real female, now facing far less competition because all the other guys are still tangled up in a ball. It's a brilliant example of how evolution can favor trickery. By pretending to be the prize, this sneaky snake gets a huge advantage and a much better chance of passing on his clever genes to the next generation. It's an amazing story of survival and deception. In the animal kingdom, size really can matter, especially when males have to fight for the right to mate. This is called sexual dimorphism, which is just a fancy way of saying that males and females of a species look different. In nearly half of all mammal species, males are significantly larger and more muscular than females. This isn't for attracting mates with a flashy display, but for battling other males. The biggest, strongest male wins the territory, the resources, and most importantly, access to the females. It's a tough life where only the most powerful get to pass on their genes. A fantastic example of this is the mighty elephant seal. These giants of the sea are champions of sexual dimorphism. A dominant male or beach master can weigh up to 10 times more than a female. During the breeding season, these massive males haul themselves onto beaches and engage in violent, bloody battles to defend their harem of females. They use their enormous weight and sharp canine teeth to slam into rivals. The winner gets to father most of the pups in the colony, but he must also be careful. He's so large that he could accidentally crush a female while attempting to mate. Sometimes the best strategy for survival isn't to go it alone but to gather in enormous numbers. For species with external fertilization where eggs and sperm meet outside the body, coordinating is key. Every year, a truly ancient spectacle unfolds on the shores of the American Northeast. Thousands of horseshoe crabs, living fossils that have been around for over 450 million years, crawl out of the sea under the light of the full moon. The females dig nests in the sand to lay thousands of eggs, and the smaller males cling to their backs, ready to fertilize them the moment they are laid. We see a similar incredible event with the grunion, a small silvery fish found off the coast of California. During the highest tides, massive schools of grunion ride the waves all the way onto the beach. The females quickly wriggle their tails into the wet sand, burying themselves to lay their eggs safely beneath the surface. The males then wrap their bodies around the females to fertilize the eggs. By coming ashore in such huge numbers, both horseshoe crabs and grunion overwhelm predators and increase the chances that their eggs will be fertilized and survive, ensuring the next generation can return to the sea. Now let's dive into some of the most extreme and bizarre mating strategies that evolution has ever produced. Out in the deep dark ocean lives the anglerfish, where finding a mate is nearly impossible. The solution? The tiny male becomes a permanent partner. When he finds a female who can be hundreds of times his size, he bites onto her body. He then releases an enzyme that fuses his mouth to her skin, and their circulatory systems merge. He becomes a sexual parasite, losing his eyes and internal organs, and spending the rest of his life attached to her, providing sperm in exchange for nutrients. This is just the beginning of the wild world of animal reproduction. Male cats, for example, have a penis covered in sharp spines. During mating, these spines rake the female's reproductive tract, which is thought to help stimulate ovulation, and may also remove sperm left by previous suitors. Some species of hermaphroditic slugs, which have both male and female reproductive organs, take competition to another level by biting off each other's penises after mating, and perhaps most shocking is the bedbug, which engages in traumatic insemination. The male uses a sharp, harpoon-like organ to stab the female's abdomen and inject sperm directly into her bloodstream. These intense and sometimes violent examples show how reproduction is often a conflict driven by the selfish need to pass on one's genes. But mating isn't always about competition and conflict. For some animals, it plays a vital social role. Look at the bonobo, one of our closest living relatives. In their peaceful, female-led societies, sex is used for much more than just making babies. They use it to say hello, to make friends, to share food, and to resolve arguments. It's a tool for social bonding that helps keep their entire community strong and cooperative. The bonobo reminds us that the story of mating is incredibly diverse. It began as a simple act of cellular repair and exploded into a billion-year saga of dazzling displays, chemical warfare, epic battles, and strange sacrifices. From the peacock's tail to the bonobo's kiss, the drive to reproduce has shaped the animal kingdom in countless fascinating ways. It shows us that in nature, the quest to create the next generation is the ultimate engine of evolution, driving some of the wildest and most wonderful behaviors on our planet. What an adventure!